this woman suddenly becomes invisible. Then she strips off all her clothes. Being completely naked, she boldly goes to rob a bank with her husband. Yes, the woman has invisibility powers, but clothes can't become invisible, so they must be removed. The woman walks into the bank, openly follows the manager into the bank's interior. Then she watches the bank employee enter the safe's code, but for some unknown reason, her invisibility power suddenly fails. This becomes awkward. Right at this moment, an elderly person comes in for business. Seeing this shocking scene, his eyes nearly pop out of his head. Fortunately, her invisibility power has returned to normal. The male employee thinks he's having hallucinations. Must be because he's been single for too long. The woman angrily goes to find her family, asking them what they just did. It turns out her power failure was her family's doing. What exactly happened? The story begins a few days ago. That day the whole family was having dinner. Suddenly a meteorite fell from the sky. It hit their grandfather directly. Grandfather died on the spot. Then strange things started happening. When father was using the bathroom and just passed gas, he somehow teleported himself outside. It turns out he gained teleportation powers. Though using this superpower requires quite a bit of gas, and sister's situation was even more intense. Her 300-pound body suddenly flew into the sky, spinning and jumping in the air. The family had to temporarily tie her feet to prevent her from flying away. Just when things seemed to settle down, they turned around to see a pair of bare legs standing before them. Surprisingly, second sister also had the superpower of invisibility. When father turned his head again, their deceased grandfather walked out. His superpower was infinite resurrection, and little sister's superpower was super strength. She could easily bend steel pipes as thick as arms. Little brother's superpower was rather peculiar. He could understand dog language. He could communicate with dogs without any barriers. Finally, David, the second sister's husband, had the most useless superpower. He could spray water from his fingers, so he could only water the plants. However, they soon discovered a problem. When second sister went out, grandfather died. When she came back, grandfather revived. David seemed to have found a pattern. He asked second sister to go out again for testing. Sure enough, grandfather died again. After multiple experiments, they came to a conclusion. Only when all 7 family members were together could they possess superpowers. If anyone moved more than 20 meters away, everyone's superpowers would disappear. After learning this rule, the family discussed, what should they do with these superpowers? David suggested they rob a bank. He had been smuggling caviar recently, but the ship sank and all cargo was lost. The boss demanded him to pay 1 million in compensation, or he would be sent to prison. So he desperately needed money now. Besides, with money, everyone could live a wealthy life. So they all agreed and decided to act immediately.